Hey guys, Pania, I'm back. I'm going to show you how to make this farmhouse style bow Christmas ornament. And I have two different sizes, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to make the smaller one. And if you are interested in the medium size on the right side here, I will have a second video for that. For this small ornament here, it measures about 7.5 inches in diameter. And the larger size here measures about 10 inches in diameter. So this one is like the medium-sized ornament that you get on a tree, and this one is a smaller one. So if you want to watch how to make this small ornament, this one on the left here, please stay tuned. And if you want to make a bigger one, please watch my next video. Thanks. So for this project, I'm using the Buttercream Luxe Craft roving yarn, and this is 100% wool, and I am using the color Aran. So one ball of yarn is enough. You'll make quite a bit, like 8 of them. So for this project, you also need some twine. I have a white twine rope here, kind of a medium size. You'll all need F 3.75 millimeter hook, a scissor, and a stitch marker, and a yarn needle. You'll also need some polyfill fiber to fill up the ornament. So to begin, we'll start with a magic ring. To make a magic ring, I'll wrap around my finger twice here, and then use my hook and insert it through the ring and yarn over and pull it through, and you'll chain 1 to start the round. Then single crochet into the magic ring, and we'll single crochet for a total of 8. Once you make 8 single crochet into the magic ring, you'll want to pull on the loose end and cinch the hole up so that you close the bottom of the ornament. So here I'm just grabbing my stitch marker to show you where the first stitch of the round is, and this is right here. So for every round, you want to put a stitch marker into the very first one so you know that that's the beginning, because we are not going to end the round with a chain 1 or turn. So from here, we'll just make a single crochet for the second round and place a stitch marker right here. This tells you this is the first stitch of round 2. And then I'm going to single crochet into the same stitch. Then make 2 single crochet into the next stitch. 2 single crochet into the next stitch, and repeat that all the way to the end until you get to the stitch marker. Here I am in my last stitch of round 2, making my last 2 single crochet. I'm going to stop here and take my stitch marker off that very first stitch of round 2, because we know this is the end of round 2. And now I'm going to make 1 single crochet for round 3 and put the stitch marker back on so we know that's the beginning of round 3. Now I'm going to single crochet into the next stitch. So we'll repeat making 1 single crochet into each stitch all the way around to the stitch marker again. Here I am making my last single crochet in round 3, and then I'm going to take the stitch marker off of the first stitch of round 3. I'm going to begin my round 4. We'll make 2 single crochet into that stitch, but remember to put a stitch marker in the first stitch here. And then this single crochet is in the same stitch, so 2 single crochet in that first stitch, and then single crochet in the next stitch, 2 single crochet in the following stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and we'll repeat making 2 single crochet in the next, and then 1 single crochet in the next, all the way to the stitch marker. Here am I in my last 2 single crochet in 1 stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next stitch. And then we'll take the stitch marker off of the first stitch of round 4 And then for round 5, I'm going to make 1 single crochet and place the stitch marker on top. Then I'm going to make 1 single crochet into each stitch all the way around to the end until you reach the stitch marker. Here I'm making my last single crochet in the last stitch of round 5, and then I'm going to take off the stitch marker. And then for round 6 through round 8, I'm repeating round 5. So you're going to make 1 single crochet into each stitch around, remembering to place a stitch marker on your first stitch so you know where the beginning of the round begins. So as you can see here, this is the wrong side and the right side is actually inside. So I'm just going to flip it over. So here I'm at the end of round 8. I'm going to take my stitch marker off, and for round 9 I will make a single crochet 2 together only in the front loops. So in order to do that, I'm going to insert my hook in through the first stitch under only the first front loop here, yarn over, pull through, and then insert into the next stitch in the front loop only, yarn over and pull through, then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And that is called a single crochet 2 together only in the front loops. In the next stitch, we'll make a single crochet, and then single crochet 2 together only in the front loops. Then single crochet in the next stitch, and then we'll repeat making single crochet 2 together in the front loops only in the next 2 stitch, and then make a single crochet in the following stitch and repeat this all the way to the stitch marker for round 9. Here I am in my last 2 set of the single crochet 2 together, and then my last single crochet for round 9. And for round 10, I'm going to take the stitch marker off here, and then I'm going to make 1 single crochet into each stitch all the way around. And remember to put the stitch marker on your first stitch so you know that's the beginning of round 10. Finally, I'm making my last single crochet for round 10 here. And then I'm going to grab a little bit of the polyfill fiber, and I'm going to get a little bit and stuff it into the amount that I want. So I kind of want this more rounded, so I might put a little bit more just so that it's kind of stuffed. So for round 11, I'm going to take off my stitch marker here, and then I'm going to make single crochet 2 together in the front loops only in the next 2 stitches together. So only in the front loops in the next 2 stitches together. And then I'm going to put my stitch marker back on so we know that's the first stitch of this round. And then I'm going to repeat making single crochet 2 together in the front loops only in the next 2 stitches, repeating that all the way around to the stitch marker. At this point, it can be a little bit hard to hold down the ornament, because when you're going on such a tight area here, you might get a little loose at the top here, but you want to be more secure here, because if you're too loose up at the top, you're going to have quite bigger holes here. So just want to hold the working thread as secure as you can while you're making these single crochet 2 together in each of the stitches around. So I'm using my thumb to kind of hold the project, and then use my middle finger to stuff down the polyfill fiber so I could work at the top here. Finally, I'm going to take off my stitch marker at the end here, and I'm going to slip stitch into the next stitch here. And then I'm going to snip off the working yarn, leaving maybe like 4 to 5 inches of yarn to sew in and close the top of the ornament. I'm going to tug it nice and secure and then insert my yarn needle. I'm going to weave in my yarn needle through each stitch, and when I do go through, I'm just going to tug at it so that it closes while I'm going through. And I'm going to weave in this end all the way to the beginning where I started, and then I'll just make a knot here at the top. And then what I like to do is then I'm going to insert my needle through the top of the ornament and pull it through to the back or the bottom of the ornament here, and then just snip off that loose end as close as I can to the bottom of it. So now I have the ornament completed. I'm going to make the bow and the hanging loop for the ornament. So I'm just shaping how I want the hanging loop here, and I'm just going to cut off a piece of twine here. You can just do however long you want, but for me, I just kind of eyeballed everything, and here I'm just eyeballing my bow as well, and you can make it as big as you want, as small as you want. Here I'm just trying to see if the hanging loop would be enough for a bow, but I figure this might be a little too small. So anyway, I'm gonna leave that as the hanging loop, and now I'm going to just kind of make 2 bunny ears with this twine and shape out a bow that I might like to put on to the top of my ornament. So you can definitely make the bow and the hanging loop as big as you want or as small as you want, but this is the one I'm making. And if you like how mine looks like exactly, just keep watching and I will show you the measurements that I have for the hanging loop and also for the bow. So for this measurement for the bow here, it measures about 12.5 inches, and then for the hanging loop it is about 10.5 inches. So once you have that 12-inch twine for the bow, you're just going to make 2 bunny ears here and then crisscross and pull one of the bunny ears through the larger loop here, and you can pull the 2 loops up and then kind of fix the shape here to how you like your bow. So for me, I like my bow to be a little bit smaller in the loop up here and then a little longer for those 2 strands at the bottom. And then when you have your bow, you're going to put it on top of the ornament, and you can always kind of choose however big or smaller you want your bow. And then here I have the hanging loop. So you'll want to get the ornament at the top here, and as you can see, that's the top right there. I'm going to use my crochet hook and insert 1 row below the top of the ornament. So that's the top, and this is 1 row below. I'm just going to insert my hook 1 row below and through the top, and then hook the middle part of the hanging loop, and then pull that hanging loop through. You want to pull maybe like 1 inch or 2 here, because you're going to want to put the bow right at the center at the top there. And as you can see here, the bow is kind of sitting on top of the ornament. I'm going to use my crochet hook and then pull those 2 strands through the larger hoop of the hanging loop. So when it's on the side here, your bow is just sitting right on top of the ornament. So now I'm going to put my thumb right at the center of the bow here to kind of secure the bow down onto the ornament, and then tug at the top of the hanging loop here to secure the bow nicely on top of the ornament. So as you can see here, if I am looking at the top of the ornament, the bow is sitting on top, and if you have on the side, the bow is facing forward. So once you have that secure, you can always reshape your bow so you can have it the way you like. So now I'm going to just finish tying the top of the 2 strands here so we have a nice hanging loop. And you'll tend to have that tie it a little way too close to the middle of the hanging loop, but slowly pull that knot up towards the end of the loop so that you'll have a bigger loop. And then I'm just going to clip off the top of the knot here so that we have a nice clean end. And here is my small size farmhouse styled bowed Christmas ornament. And as you can see here, I have exactly an identical ornament like the black one, except it's pink. And as always, thank you for watching my crochet videos, and happy holidays.